We will kick this off. So, welcome everyone. Today, and by everyone, Rolly and Alessandra, and then also today we have NYU students with us as well. So it's pretty cool. They're all studying English as a second language at so. Okay, today we're going to be talking about video-mediated listening for written communicative competence, and this will be related, of course, to the discussion section or discussion group that we had. When was it? Last week, I think. Yeah, that was last week. Alessandra, did you attend that one?
Yes.
You did. Okay. We were talking. Yeah, because we were watching SNL. Do you remember that?
What?
We were watching an SNL clip and looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's been.
Too many things.
Too many things. Too many things. Okay, so some of this will look familiar to you. None of this will look familiar to you, which is fine. So I'm also heavily banking on your participation. The previous theoretical knowledge is not necessary to participate in this workshop. However, a lot of it will be probably common sense to you. Okay, so I want to start with a question. And the question is, what were your own experiences with video-mediated listening as a foreign language learner? Alessandra, you talked about it last time, right? Lolly, did you talk about your experiences with video-mediated? Okay, so let's ask our guests. So when you guys were learning English or other foreign language, what were your experiences with video listening? How did it all go for you? Was it positive? Was it negative? Neutral? Did it help? I'm just trying to see. Okay. Well, do you
use video? Did you have to teach? No, we think you are teaching now, or no?
No, we were just students.
Just the students.
Yeah.
And how is the video?
Well, first of all, did you ever learn a foreign language?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so as you're learning a foreign language, chances are that you probably did so through some sort of, or with help of video material, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that facilitating the practice of listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what was your experience with that? What was your experience with those videos?
I would say YouTube videos really helped me acquiring English language.
Okay, how so?
I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos about like the basic grammar of English. So I would say like 80% of the language that I acquired was through media.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And besides, I'm a visual learner, so it makes sense that I learn best by seeing videos and pictures.
Mm-hmm. So combining videos or
Yeah.
visual stimulus with audio material. Mm-hmm. Anybody else would like to add to it? Yeah.
So you use the videos with grammar lessons.
Yeah, for example, I would write like how to order from Starbucks, and I watched a video before I came here to the US. It was very helpful. Like I listened to the pronunciation, I listened to the accent, and I repeat orally. Because I can pause, I can like watch it over and over again.
Was it with subtitles?
No, only in English.
Mm-hmm. And was it something that was prepared for the textbook, or was it something that you just pulled from the internet?
I would say both.
Both.
I would say both, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Ollie, did you want to say anything?
No. Sometimes I ask myself, how many times do we need to watch a video? No, how many times as instructors should we, show this video? Sometimes it's just, normally we do it twice. When I was a student, we used to watch it 3 times, I remember. In class, why we change?
Well, that's pretty standard though, right? You listen the first time for just general global understanding, and then the second time and
3 times.
Yeah.
3 times? No, we do it twice.
For Spanish?
For Spanish, we do it
For
twice
the
a
audio
year.
or for
For
the
the audio and for the video, or for the exams. It changed.
three times? Yeah,
Three times before. It depends.
The
And I
first,
used
the
to do it.
general comprehension. Second time you write, and three
Then
times you check.
check. Exactly. But now we changed it.
When
to
did the
two.
change happen?
Now the recent
Recently?
years. Yes, recent. Yeah.
So
In
like,
teaching.
so in 10 years, you're only going to listen to it once.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering what is behind, no? What's the research behind, how many times should, I don't know.
That's an interesting question.
Hmm?
Three times, we usually say.
Yeah, but if the, in the
It's
exams,
assessments.
and we are to take classes, yeah, sure.
When I studied German, we used to do twice.
Twice, you see? It depends.
Twice.
Twice is
I don't know.
for a
It
long.
may depend on the etymological proximity.
What I do as a student in advanced English, as advanced English learner, is to watch it just once, no? When I watch videos, but with subtitles. I like it.
To sort of go back on our track here, the follow-up question would be, what are some advantages and disadvantages of video-mediated listening? And is it always effective? And you already started talking about using that kind of video in class by saying that you can pause it whenever you want, you
Yeah.
can rewind, you can fast forward.
Mhm.
Anything else that you guys can think of?
We have also the setting, the images, the gesture, so when, for example, Starbucks, she knows that when you go to Starbucks, you have this, you can say this and this, so it's already.
So there's multiple sources of, there are multiple available designs that are present in the video material.
So you already said this.
And we have to deal with frustration. Sometimes we need to tell the students that they don't need to understand everything because
Yes, to understand what's going on, so in general. So it's,
So there's potential for it
frustration.
not being effective.
Yes.
So potential possible student frustration would be a disadvantage of using, but that could be said also about any other.
Any other
Yeah,
I think that
input.
frustration is possible, sometimes it's quite easily avoidable. You can avoid it.
Mhm.
Because it's there's many. Sometimes we use the video just to show them. Okay, now in this video we've done. Sometimes I show them videos without audio.
Mhm.
So they concentrate only on what's going on, so they can do some guess, okay, I think they do this, where are they, so we concentrate on this, and then maybe we go little by little, so it's.
Mhm.
So this leads us to the next consideration, and that would be regarding some of the factors that would impact the use of video in class. Right, so the first intuitive one would be how proficient your students are, how good or how bad is their listening comprehension.
But as Rubio said, it doesn't matter the level, we have to teach with video, no, and to teach listening skills.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't matter the language. We cannot forget about any skill that the students need in order to be competent in a language.
Okay, so like language competency or oral competency, listening comprehension and competency would be one of the factors that would influence how videos are received, how they're used in class. What else?
The interests of the students, maybe.
Sure.
Well,
They're always happy to see something authentic, so they feel
Mhm.
excited about it.
So the degree of authenticity of the listening materials, right? So if it's something that is not artificially sort of developed for a textbook, then it will be a lot better received than
Yeah.
by students than material that is clearly not authentic. And this goes back to, again, your comments where you're saying that the Starbucks video was authentic and then
Useful.
a lot more useful. Okay. What about, and it was that came up within the discussion group on last Monday where we were talking about just being familiar with the cultural context. So in other words, if you are showing your students a video that serves to highlight certain grammatical, lexical features, points, and if they're not familiar with what is happening in that video in the broad sense, then then that might impede their interactions and their understanding. Anything else that we have?
But sometimes we don't question, we don't teach culture pragmatics, and we focus too much on grammar and vocabulary in our video or listening comprehension.
So what would be examples of pragmatics that you might want to make your students alerted to before showing the video?
An example of a question, I don't know, like how do you do this, or what type of sentence do you use? Is the same, because sometimes it's like, how do you translate this? And you think that this literal, the translation in your language, and it's what do you say in your language in this context?
You want to comment on that?
I studied that when I studied English.
No, but it's a pretty good point though, in the sense that so for instance, if you're making requests in, let's say, English, these requests will be structured differently depending on how familiar you are with the person that you're talking to, the level of just the distance, the power dynamic between you and the speaker and the interlocutor, which then would be reflected differently in different languages, right? Which have to be accounted for pragmatically.
The use of modals in English and the use of commands in Spanish. For example.
How's it in Italian? Because to stick with the requests, I would imagine that requests are formulated differently in Italian than they are in English, right? In English, there's a higher degree of deference.
Yeah, it's different in Italian, and which also to address people and how to think about gestures.
Okay, so the gestures, right? Gestures come into play too in Italian as well.
It's a bit on the voice. It's always a little bit too loud compared to the American voice, and so it's important to have an activity of how to say things with gestures.
And this is something that you can't do without video, obviously. So there's listening comprehension with gestures, and then just different tonality and different voice levels.
Accents.
Okay. So some of the things, of course, that will affect how successfully or unsuccessfully videos are used in class are students' well-language proficiency. They need to be proficient to actually be able to understand what it is that they're watching and listening to, but also prior knowledge about the context of the video text and its cultural norms illustrated in that video. Right? So we also mentioned that. Prior knowledge of the genre of the video text. Right? So if you are showing them, let's say, soap from South America, it would be useful for them to know that it is soap as opposed to, so that it's not being interpreted as a documentary or these things, right? One's ability to retain information in short-term memory while engaging with the text, and this directly translates to, of course, the length of the videos. So you don't want to use videos that are excessively long. Shorter is sometimes better. Or if you want to use a longer one, then make sure that it is divided and scaffolded appropriately. in sentence fragments. And then metacognitive strategies. Can we pause here for a bit and talk about students' effective learning and metacognitive strategies? How would that be manifested in class? Or in conjunction with video text? Everyone, this is Chris.
Hi, good.
Hello.
For example, can you think of one?
Can I think about one? So, when
To infer the meaning?
it could be meaning inference from gestural cues. That would be one strategy. Another would be being able to, let's say, if you have a video, right, and let's say you split the video into shorter bits that are illustrative of certain, I know, situations or grammatical points or vocabulary points, students' ability to be able to memorize one phrase or one word and sort of assign that to these video fragments. That might be one example. So those are all the factors that one should keep in mind when working with videos or video texts in class. They will, of course, have an impact on what video material is we choose to work with and to show our students. This brings us to the next point, or next question, in which I want you to think of a video text from your textbook and try to recall what kind of instructional sequence is developed around it. If it consists of any phases or stages, what these phases or stages would be, and what would be their focus.
So we have, in our elementary book,
Sure.
so textbook we have some interviews, so they're pretty authentic, so it's not so bad, but so they are not, the instructor has to work on these interviews because there are no activities connected with these interviews. They use the vocabulary of the unit, but that's it. And then we have a short fiction in this textbook about Peter Roma. It's very, the students have a lot of fun because it's trash, so but they love it regardless because it's bad acting, so very stupid story, but it's fun anyway. And so and there is an activity. There is a there is a vocab, and then there is a activities to do before watching the clip, and then while you are watching, while you watch the clip, and after. So the typical.
Typical students
Pre,
during, and then
during
after. Is this any different in Spanish?
I am in a project where we use authentic materials, so the videos are authentic, and we have created activities before, during, and after.
This is the same.
Yes, but the length of the videos are different. No? We have activities with 2 minutes videos or with 15 somewhere, maybe a couple in the whole course.
So usually when I create a picture, when I take videos from the internet, I use pretty much the same activities, but something different. Especially when I use this without audio, without video, so it's a different way.
So these 3 general stages that we isolated, the pre, the during, and the after, what happens in each of these stages?
During the pre activities with some preparatory about keep up with the cat, there's some activity matching with camera or something.
And what is the purpose?
Sometimes just
To keep up with the cat.
or to catch the attention of the students with the question of the topic.
So
what
drag
they
the
know
attention
about the
to-
topic.
Yeah.
Previous knowledge.
Okay, to activate previous knowledge, whether grammatical, or lexical, right?
Yeah, lexical or
Pragmatic
just
maybe?
yeah, maybe.
Mhm.
This is the subject, what you're talking about, so the vocab is important because
Right.
today.
I do that as well. I like it, but with everything. We are talking about video, but it can be a text.
Game?
Come on, again, again, vocabulary game, something before.
Field trip.
But I mean, when we talk about video, I would say video text. Video text is the same, no?
So you just prepare them to receive and
Something-
engage with
something,
with
the
the
input.
video, okay? And then so they're now prepared, pragmatically, lexically, grammatically, their attention is where it's supposed to be as far as the genre and so on and so forth. Then they watch the video, and then what happens while watching the stage? What is the purpose of that stage? Traditionally.
Traditionally is focus on something, and you have to write something from
Some
that.
notes about what's going on.
Yes. Or summarize what you see, or.
Okay, so summarize what you hear, summarize what you see, right? So it's going to be comprehension. This is a good comprehensive stage, essentially, right?
A typical example of an activity is to pause the video and to talk about or to write what is going to happen.
Okay.
It's a typical activity,
Sure.
you know, like to stop the video in the middle or
Mhm.
before the ending. Just,
To guess what's going
Yeah.
on.
Mhm. So it could be. So then again, it's comprehension based on the available designs that students have access to, right? It could be, again, lexical, grammatical, visual, and so on and so forth. And then the post stage, what do they usually do in the post stage?
video comprehension, listening comprehension.
Comprehension still. Okay.
And expand. Expand something,
Yeah.
not something you relate it with
Exactly. So knowledge
real life,
application.
with your personal experience, with something else. What can you relate this video with what? With what materials? With
So at first it's preparation, then the actual learning, and then the application of the knowledge.
application.
That's
Yeah.
more or less the structure, yes? Yes? Do you have anything to add? I've been talking. Feel free to interrupt us at any point. This is for all of us, really.
It's okay.
Okay then. So what we just talked about is called process-oriented approach, and it consists of the previewing phase where background knowledge is being activated and where students have the space to discuss the expectations about the video text. Then we move on to the while viewing phase, focus on moving the learner from comprehending the gist of the video text to understanding its details. So this is where we pay attention to vocabulary, this is where we pay attention to grammar, this is where we pay attention to various sociocultural aspects, to pragmatic dimension, and so on and so forth. And then finally, post-viewing phase is comprised of activities meant to engage learners in productive and creative use of the vocabulary and grammar provided by the video. So the application of what they have learned and glanced from the video. And this is sort of how everything is structured. Traditionally, if you have been learning language for within the last 25 years, quarter century, chances are that what you have seen, what you have experienced doesn't really deviate much from this approach. What I would like to do now is to give you this handout that outlines. One more moment. That outlines a lesson plan structured around a video text for listening, and you will notice that it is kind of similar, but also very, very different. What you're holding in your hands, this lesson plan is informed by the multiliteracies approach, which is the focus of the main theme of this semester. And what I would like you to do is to take a look at it and see, maybe discuss in a group or two groups how this process-oriented approach is different from the approach, from the process that's outlined in the lesson plan, if at all. How certain elements may be expanded, how some of them are modified. So take a few minutes and negotiate or chat about that with each other. You guys can work together. Then we'll discuss it as a group.
I would like to see the activities. You know, like critical thinking. What do you believe about
Yes.
this or what?
Right.
You know, if it sounds good.
They're in the chapter.
Yeah. Okay.
You have the chapter in your inbox.
Yeah, for today. Or for Monday.
For last week.
Oh, last week.
It's from
Oh,
the
yeah,
chapter
but-
that we sort of went
I took a look.
still do it on your computer. It's all there. That's okay, because the point is for us to actually think about our own activities rather than banking on what keep these on each is put together. I'm saying that what we would ideally like to do is to think of our own activities structured around video texts that are informed by the multiliteracies framework, which is what we're trying to do here.
Multiliteracies. With the multiliteracies, I think we focus more on culture, in this case, gender, on prediction, and sometimes in this part, the traditional is simple, no more simple.
Yeah.
This tries to create. Maybe the focus on pragmatics and culture is more.
Yeah. So then put the stage 2, the matching verbal and visual signals. So it's
But it can be in one or two. For me, it's the same.
yeah.
What is new is to focus on this, the differences, no, in between cultures. That it wasn't before when I studied, when I was student, when I was.
Hmm?
No,
No.
the intercultural competence or the cultural competence was too focused on grammar and vocabulary.
Was it just for English or for other languages too?
For other languages too.
Was it just for this one?
It was Danish traditional. Yes. French was more like this.
No,
German tradition.
Well, although, no, that's just one stupid.
But traditionally, it wasn't this tradition. It was like understand everything. It wasn't sequenced.
So it wasn't even sequenced like this, it was just like.
It was what you know. Like no time to think, no time, no sequence at all. Interesting.
Do Do you guys need a few more minutes, or should we proceed?
No, we can.
Okay, let's wait for that.
What I like, I don't think that not everybody likes, is the last step.
Role playing and storytelling.
Love it. Totally. I think that it's very good for understanding robotics culture and language. But
And then they get this and confirm.
I like
Well, it
this.
really makes you apply what you
And then this one.
it's especially if
That's a
structured in a way that
to whatever this
makes
is
you
here, and then just
create your own character, right? Which has to fit into the story,
Exactly.
right? By either adhering to the sociocultural norms conveyed by the story or negating them if it's a community character, right? But either way, you have to know what you're working with.
It's very good. You see more than just your own views. All people talk things with more. It creates empathy.
Okay,
No,
you guys feel free to continue to discuss and work with your work. We're going to start
talking about any video.
any video, yeah.
It's a segment of a movie or
Mhm.
commercial or
Any kind of video text, so video and audio, but we are mainly focusing on listening comprehension here.
actually,
So what are the differences?
different. That here we can see more activities than in the previous one.
Okay, so I'm going to bring back this screen right here. Okay, so here there are more activities than, well, there are no activities here.
Yeah, but they.
It's just the stages.
But these stages, it looks like more with less things, with less.
But okay, but here you also have 3 stages though, right? So in a sense, or phases. So in a sense, it's not that different.
so that's.
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
It's, I think that you can, in this lesson plan, you can mix the different stages.
See.
Okay, so the multiliteracies approach allows you to mix these up. Mm. Do you guys agree?
It's,
There's a lot more flexibility with what's proposed by the handout as opposed to this traditional linear approach.
for example, let's say matching verb and adjustment, and it says stage 2 and you put the
Number 1.
to identify cultural differences in visual elements.
Okay, so.
Mm.
And how is this kind of flexibility good?
I don't know. It's different. At least it's
different.
something that you don't do always the same.
Okay, so it introduces variety for sure. What else is? You mentioned culture, that this is a lot more open to the introduction of various sociocultural
It's specified.
elements.
It's specified in the that we are going to focus on the culture differences in visual elements. Pay
Mhm.
attention to this. Can you identify so the students can point out the different cultures of the students?
What about the silent viewings? There's 2 silent viewings prescribed by this lesson plan. Is it necessary?
One, yes.
I mean, there's no right or wrong answer.
So because when you show video class, you always have to find a balance in keeping them engaged. And so, because sometimes if you show the video twice silent,
I wouldn't do it.
maybe they lost concentration. So it's maybe once it's okay.
And they are
And then you
respecting
have
the
to-
language. And in language class, they want the language, not
It's-
silent video.
No,
21st century round.
But they want also, but they want to use the language of example. They think it's very interesting to guess and to make hypotheses.
That's
What?
Okay, so far I think it'd be a good point, maybe a good point to recap. So far, we talked about the various considerations that our students bring into the classroom that would impact how we work with video mediated listening. Then having looked at that, we took a look at a sort of traditional way in which these activities are structured. And with that, or against that, we propose a multiliteracies framework-oriented or informed approach where we discussed a number of differences and or similarities between the two. Now, of course, when we are thinking about multiliteracies, that was the question we already answered, we naturally think about the 4 pedagogical acts, and this is probably like the 50th time that we will be discussing it this semester. But the 4 pedagogical acts is, of course, it would be they form the point of departure for materials and curricular development in the multiliteracies framework. Do you remember what these 4 pedagogical acts are?
I don't remember the name. I remember the photocopy, but
So if you flip the script to the back page, they're all listed for you right there.
They always are.
They always are, and they are here linked to, or they're presented in the context of video-mediated listening already. Okay, so you situate practice over instruction, critical framing, and then transform practice. And especially this is particularly useful for our guests here, where the 4 pedagogical acts, what do? They provide means for instructors to systematically guide learners through the complex and multilateral process of meaning design. They facilitate learners' access to language conventions, cultural content, and other resources / available designs comprising the text, and then engage learners in the process of interpretation, collaboration, problem solving, and reflection. And this is something, guys, that we here have been drilling for the whole semester. So if this looks brand new to you, that is fine. Bear with us. They're all these guys are listed here. Again, in the context of working with video-mediated texts. So what we will do now is I will give you a minute or two, maybe 3, to kind of read over this. Okay? And once you're done, do let me know. I will send everyone a copy.
Okay.
As you are going through this, I'm gonna find a video that we'll work with.
People know.
Lily, Alessandra, it's pretty familiar and straightforward, right? No surprises here. Okay. So next year, everything will be following the multiliteracies framework.
Everything.
Classrooms.
I don't know. We have to change things.
Yeah.
To have more things. To add a couple of more. at the video and to predict.
I'm just thinking because I know that in terms of Spanish curriculum, and it is pretty uniform for you guys now, right? There isn't a whole lot of deviation between the courses or instructors.
Just with the intermediate, we are working with this project, but the others are, it's fixed for all the sections. We are, it's been in process now. They are changing everything. They are changing the books, or they are changing the program, the curriculum, stuff, everything.
Are we good to go? Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Great. Okay, so we have reviewed, refreshed, in some cases learned about the 4 pedagogical acts. I'm just going to fast them forward really quick. Okay, and this sort of brings us over to the final point of our workshop today, and that is the actual technology part. And the technology part that I decided to select for today is called VideoAnt. It was developed at the University of Minnesota. And essentially what it does is it allows you to annotate videos in a way that creates space for written assignments, for discussions, which I think is very fitting in the context of video-mediated listening, especially the use of video-mediated listening for communicative written competence. So, which is what we were doing today. So you go ahead and if you have your computers, I will invite you to go to ant.umn.edu. I don't know how well this will work on iOS, but it works very well on laptops, and I don't know if it works on phones at all.
I'll try.
So
How do
it's,
you move the SRT?
you do. And the University of Minnesota, umn.edu. Okay, are we there? Perfect. Okay, so from here, we will go to Google. Since Columbia runs on Google, I think NYU runs on Google as well. And from here, I want you to use your, what is this in Spanish? No, this is French. And log in to your account. And once you've logged in, you should see something like that minus the video, which I'm going to delete right now. Okay, and it's going to ask you to load a new ant.
Yeah.
Okay, ant is obviously an insect, but ant is what this platform refers to. Refers to the videos at. So let's go ahead and add a new ant. And you can, if you have a ready YouTube video, you can paste it. If you don't, you can go ahead and then look for one. I'm just going to use this one right here.
Can I use one of mine?
One of yours that you have saved.
Yes, in YouTube.
On YouTube? Oh yeah, any link will work on YouTube. Okay, so this is loading. Great. And this is sort of the main editing window. The program is very simple. The steps are outlined on the right-hand side. You start the video. When you're ready to ask a question or annotation, you click this guy right here. You can add closed captions if you want. And then for your annotation, you can pose a question or a discussion prompt. It has to be written, it has to be textual. And then you save it. And each of these prompts will serve as a separate thread for your students to respond to. And you can interact with it as well yourself. So what I would like to do now is I would like for us to watch this 3.5 minute long video. And as you're watching, think back to the lesson plan and also to the 4 pedagogical acts, and see if you can come up with any activities that will follow the 4 pedagogical acts, right? So any activities that would engage experiencing or conceptualizing, analyzing, or applying, or perhaps a mix of of all these acts. Okay? And I would like for each person to come up with just one activity like that.
So, and when you have this video, so you can annotate it, and the students can do it at the same time.
If students can annotate the videos at the same time. So that is a good question. The question was if once you have a video, if you can have students annotate the video as well. Yes, it is possible. Another possibility, and this is something that you determine from here, how you want it to be shared. So it's shared with the public, and then the public can either annotate or just view, or you can make it entirely private. If you allow your viewers to annotate the video, then they will be able to annotate it as well. And that is, of course, that goes back to how you want this to be structured, how you want this to be scaffolded. If you want to be in charge of the video and the activities, you probably want to just leave space for students to answer the prompts rather than them making new annotations on the video. But anyway, I think we can dive into the question after, as we're going through these activities, these ideas. So let us just go ahead and watch it now. And
as I mentioned earlier, tomorrow is Earth Day, a time to focus on things everyone can do to help the planet. Here with some suggestions is our own Will Forte.
But even I do small things every day without even noticing that hurt the planet. And so tonight I thought I'd like to apologize to Mother Earth and promise her that I will try to do a better job. So I've written a song. Fred, please. Fred's going to play the guitar. This song is called An Open Apology to Mother Earth. I admit I have not been recycling. In fact, I have been openly encouraging people to be wasteful. I often go to other people's recycling bins and throw them into the regular trash. I own 30 stretch limousine Hummers, and I keep them all running even when I am sleeping. I always dump my unused paint directly into the ocean. I'm truly sorry, because Earth, you're a wonderful, wonderful planet. Earth, you're a wonderful, wonderful planet. Earth, you're a wonderful, wonderful planet. Don't all the other boyfriends here. I thought carpools were for pussies, and sustainable energy was for jerk-offs. Organic fibers can eat my synthetic panties. Seals can go straight to hell. Now, as for an inconvenient truth, I thought that was a veritable movie suck-fest. We have a much more representative look at our planet. Can be seen in the John Travolta masterpiece, Battlefield Earth, Battlefield Earth. You're a wonderful, wonderful movie. You're a wonderful, wonderful movie. Battlefield Earth, you're a wonderful, wonderful movie. It's got what you ready to take.
this is pretty good so far. So,
I have two questions. When they are introducing the video, they say, blah, 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 we are going to watch how to save the planet. So, stop, question, what are they going to say
okay,
to
so
save the planet?
what are they going to say to save the planet?
What are the...
Okay,
what
so
is going to
before,
happen?
so where should we then put this activity?
After 10 seconds or 20, the first two lines that the presenter says, we are going to watch a video or a song or something.
Order of the environment.
Planet.
Yeah,
With something.
after that.
Okay, so right here, we can then answer. So,
Do you know what are the blah 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 to
So the
save
purpose of this,
the ideas that you are going to listen to save the planet?
Okay.
and that's you can.
What is the
also-
purpose of this video? Or what do you think the purpose is?
Well, maybe not the purpose of whether
No,
just say
prediction,
every comprehension of the prediction, and then it's another.
What
Okay.
they are going to say to save the planet?
Okay, what advice?
Eso.
will be given to save the planet. Okay. And this is a question, and this will be a discussion prompt. And where does it fit into the 4 acts?
Prediction.
Prediction.
Prediction and this, another one.
So situated practice? Critical framing? No, it's not gonna be critical framing. It has to be.
Stage 1 predicting.
Stage 1 are you
Follow.
Oh, you're following the plan. Okay.
But I don't,
Okay.
I don't find it in
So
here.
predicting. So next to, okay, I see what you did. So next to predicting is you have the letters S, P, and CF, which would be situated practice and CF critical framing. So depending on what it is that we're going for.
We can also predict which kind of, is this regular news, so do you think it's something?
General activities.
Okay, so this would be activity. So question 1 is this, right? And then you see that once this question is posted, if you're watching the video,
Everyone can do to help the planet. Here with some suggestions is our own.
this will pop up at second 10, and the question will be revealed to whoever is interacting with whomever you shared the video with. And then the comments will be posted.
All the students can,
Yeah.
okay.
And how can they write? I mean, are they watching while we are watching, and what do we tell them? Where do they have to
How
go?
can they write? They write with the keyboard.
In the computers, and you tell them go to work.
Yes, so you share the link with them.
Where is
The link. Okay, so this is this. So let's go to the sharing section. So right here you have. What is this one? Okay, so you can add a group, then we'll have access to this video, and this could be, if you work, this could be your class, or this could be individual groups within the class. Or you can go straight to the cog here, and
Share.
we can either embed, so let's just go through the options here. So embed and export, this will be iframe, which allows you to post this in Canvas. Export, well, this is going to just export the answers to interactions to the video, and if you want to share it, this is the URL.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So if you, users, go to this URL right here,
We can answer.
you should be able to interact with this video already. Yeah, sure. Let's try it. Or I can add the users here.
DB3140.
DB41.
No, 31.
3140.
Yeah.
And then
AS
AS
29 31.
39.
I like it.
And I'm allowing you to annotate it, not just view it. I'm not going to add a message. I will just share it with you. And now you should have received an email with a hyperlink. It may.
Yes.
So I'm going to
Yes.
close this, and you should see question 1. Which you then should be able to respond to. And then once you've responded, I should be able to see the answer.
You need to refresh.
Okay, perhaps I do.
Just one.
One response. Say water. And so this is how it is going to be. Okay. We are at the 3:30 mark, actually 3:33.
So it can be reflected in class. So
Yes.
during the
So you can do it in class too, and of
not
course.
at home, so it's not because
Why not?
Why not? You can, yes, it means a lot of work for the teacher, that we are creating things for class and for at home, and yeah.
Well, so it really depends, and this I think is the point where it would be good to go back to the example of the lesson plan. So let's say that you can work with the same video in various stages. So what you do in class could be a preparation for what you then assign for homework. So in class, for instance, you can watch this video with your students and focus on the stage 1 activities, right? So critical framing, and so on and so forth. Then at home, you can have them. You can have the same video as part of a separate activity where you then ask different questions, or you perhaps in different points of the video you pose different assignments for students to collaborate and to discuss.